Up next on UBC, the Smartphone Network.
Welcome to Ask Your MP. Today we're in Zombo District and we happen to come to one of the sub-counties here in Alangi sub-county, where coffee happens to be one of the most grown crop here among other crops. You know, in Zombo people are farmers, as we are going to take you along the whole district here because we are here with a woman MP for Zombo District. But in this particular sub-county, we happen to come across coffee, and as you can see, this is a coffee plantation and some of them are ripening. But within this sub-county, most of the people involved in coffee growing and of course other crops, being a place that is fertile. I can see there are a lot of bananas, but the most pronounced crop here is coffee, and then of course tea, which we shall take you around later on in another sub-county. As we allow people to ask their questions, this is Ask Your MP right here in Zombo District. Born on 10th March 1962, Honorable Kwichwiny Grace Freedom is the second born to Mr. Hezekiah Nyingaling and Sibia Nyingaling of Wari Japadhoi Village, Zombo District. She is married and blessed with 2 children, and she is a social worker by profession. Honorable Kwichwiny is the woman member of parliament for Zombo District and under NRM party, and she is also the state minister for Northern Uganda. From 2013 to 2016, she was the chairperson, Committee on Public Service and Local Government and Publicity, Secretary, Uganda Women Parliamentary Association 2011 to 2016. She holds a Master's of Business Administration from Eastern and Southern African Management Institute, EZAMI, 2007. Other qualifications include a postgraduate diploma in management from Uganda Management Institute, 2005, Advanced Certificate in Women in Development Program, Luleå University, Sweden, 1998, Certificate in Gender-Based Practices from Makerere University, 1997, Certificate in Law, Law Development Center, Kampala, 1987, a bachelor's degree in Social Sciences, Makerere University, 1985, Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education, Tororo Girls Secondary School, 1982, Uganda Certificate of Education, Wari Girls Secondary School, 1979. Before joining Parliament, Honorable Kwichwiny was a Commissioner, Local Government Finance Commission, 2008 to 2011. She also served as a Chairperson, Governing Council, Uganda College of Commerce, PAKWACH, 2007 to 2010. East Africa Regional Coordinator, International Institute of Rural Reconstruction, 2007 to 2008. Portfolio Coordinator, SNV, Uganda, 2002 to 2006. District Coordinator, Community Empowerment for Rural Development, Arua, 2000 to 2001. Board Member, National Forestry Authority, 2004 to 2006. A District Manager, Women Empowerment Program, Arua District, 1997 to 2000. Minister of Women in Development, currently Minister of Gender, 1990 to 1993. And between 1986 to 1990, she worked as administrative officer in the district of Arua and Nebi. The district she represents is located in West Nile. Its population consists of 275,400, a majority of whom are tea and coffee growers as the major cash crops. Zombo district consists of 2 counties, Okoro and Ora, 13 sub-counties, 68 parishes, and 824 villages. It has 112 primary schools, 12 secondary schools, and only 1 tertiary school and 1 teachers' college. Today, we host Honorable Kwichunyi Grace Freedom to answer the questions asked by the people of Zombo District. Welcome to Ask Your MP. My name is Oluka Jamila and you're watching UBC Inspiring Uganda. Today in this program we are hosting Honorable Kwichunyi Grace Freedom, all the way from Zombo, the woman MP, and then also the State Minister for Northern Uganda. Honorable, you're most welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Yeah, in this show what we do, we want to make you accountable for our vote, and then also to see what you've done. You having 2 positions, first of all as a woman MP for Zombo, and then that big post of State Minister for Northern Uganda. We believe that you have a lot to offer the people of Zombo and then the people of Northern Uganda. In this program what we do, we let the people ask the questions, and when we went to your constituency, there are some questions that kept coming up, and you having 2 positions, I know that you're going to be having a lot of questions from them.
My question is, since the voice of farmers, if can be taken up to the upper authority, since farmers are mainly waiting for what they are asking questions, when will the factory be put in place? Since there was a rumor that the finance has been released for the factory.
Tunataka pesa ya kusaidia sisi kwa maskiti yetu, ndio naleta sisi nakuja hapa tulima, tuleta kupatia pesa kwa sisi.
One of the questions that really touched me was the issue of the farmers who are practicing, who are engaged in tea plantation. So one of the issues that kept coming up from the 2, at least 3 people that we let ask the questions, the one was the coordinator, Innocent. He asked the question that what have you done to improve and expand the tea growing among farmers? But before, you can first greet the people and then you give us that question, answer the question.
Thank you. Let me greet all the viewers, and I want to welcome you to this discussion. My name is Kwichunyi Grace. I'm the woman MP for Zombo District, and I want to thank Innocent who asked that question. I want to thank you that you were able to see tea in Zombo District.
Yes.
Because a few people who have gone to Zombo, they didn't see tea. But for you, you're lucky you have seen the tea, and I'm grateful. What have I done to expand the tea?
Yes.
First of all, I should say that the introduction of the tea was very difficult. As a new crop in the community, it needed to have a robust introduction.
Yes.
With training, with the right exposure, with the extension service, with all the support necessary. Now that didn't happen in the beginning. From 2015, it didn't happen that way. So people started planting tea, and even now, to the greatest extent, people plant tea because they would like to have tea which will bring them income and which will get them out of poverty. But there are some challenges which I don't want to go into now, but I can just mention technical support, and now part of the tea you sow is ready for harvesting. So the challenge now is, where can the farmers take the leaves which are ready for processing? So as far as expansion of the tea is concerned, there has been a lot of support from UDC with the aim of constructing a factory.
Yes.
And also the budget support was provided through the Ministry of Trade and Cooperatives. But when they went down, they found the acreage of the tea was too little to sustain, even to feed the factory. So they have engaged into mobilization together with the local government and the kingdom, mobilization in each of the sub-counties. And that is how the tea planting has expanded. And then with community support from NUSAF, Northern Uganda Social Action Fund,
yes,
which support communities in their needs, about 150 farmers have been supported. And so as I talk now, those 150 farmers have an average of 2 acres each. And there are other farmers who had started growing before on their own with little support. So we are talking of over 400 acres of tea, old and young. And one of the efforts that we have made is that we requested NADS to give the seedlings in the first rains. Zombo district is lucky it has 2 rains in a year. The first rain starts around March, April, May, June, with a small dry spell, then August up to October. And with experience over the years, we have learned that the planting of tea in the second season is dangerous because it doesn't resist the dry season that comes in. And the dry season that comes from about November goes through December, January, February, March. This is too long, so it hurts the tea. The tea mostly don't survive. So with NADS, we have said supply tea seedlings in the first season.
Actually, Honorable, when we went to the field, which will show the people, what we noticed, actually Innocent again told us that they brought the seeds, they planted the seeds, but for some reason, as you explained, that there was a dry spell. And right now we found them trying to fill up those gaps. Yes. And that is one of the issues that they brought up.
And so with that effort, with the support from NOSAF, with the right time for planting, with technical support, which I'm lucky to say that we have been looking for somebody who knows tea, somebody whose time will be spent in supporting tea, and we say we should call that person a tea project officer who will be on site and support the farmers. With these 3 things, I think the tea factory, the tea industry will expand.
Yes.
What makes a tea bush look good? Because after supply, as I told you, the way you plant matters. Then after planting, there is what we call decentering, bringing tea into bearing. Because you plant when it is just a single what? A single plant, a single seedling. So in order to bring tea into bearing, take an example. This is a seedling. It has been there for like 1 year. It is a good seedling, ready for planting. Roots are here. That's what they are planting. But there is a stage which is called decentering. This is decentering. It was done in the nursery bed. It laid in the nursery bed. So it overgrown. So now decentering is breaking back the stem. You break just the single stem, then it will bring like 5 branches. These are branches now 5. Then after that, when centering is done, we go for pruning. The first pruning is done at 12 inches. It was done. Though sometimes mistakes are made, it was cut, not pruned.
So this one particularly wasn't done well?
Yeah, because they needed some experts. We are here to show them how they should have done it. Otherwise, the bush would be at this size. Pruning is to bring the tea into bearing. You know, you need many branches. We need this line to come and meet this one. There is no way how it will meet when you keep on just doing wrong things. We want to see a table. A table. We want to see gardens like those ones you see in the West. But you cannot reach there. Not until you are trained how to bring tea into bearing. Even those days, coffee was brought into bearing when they used to bend it. That is the reason why they used to bend. So today, even tea was bent those days. They used to bend it like this so that it can make a bigger table. Yes. At the end of the day, we expect this line, after you have done the centering, after you have done first pruning, we expect this line to bring branches here. This one will bring here, this one will bring here. But how does it come? If you don't train people how to harvest, how...
What you're picking now is...
what I'm picking is 2 leaves and a bud. This is ready for factory. Very ready now. If we had the factory now, we would be now supplying this. There are so many types of harvesting. Some people may grab. When you just send people, when they are not trained, they will just do like this. And the process, they affect the auxiliary buds, they affect the leaves, they affect everything. So as a result, you cannot get that forage. So there are many things to do. We have a lot to do here, but I promise you, what I have seen here, we are moving. Give it 1 year.
One of the things again that by names of Maurice Anwankani, one of the gentlemen we found around Zeu still asked the same another question about electricity. He said that when you were being voted, you had promised that you would lobby for them to get electricity around that area up to the border. So I don't know, what do you have to tell us about that?
The Ministry of Energy and government has worked, and it has extended tea up to the trading center, up to Zeu, but there has to be extension to every sub-county headquarters. That's according to the government plan.
Yes.
And I can say the funds have already been found, and the Ministry of Energy has identified the trading centers where this power line will reach. And needless to say, even this area, this tea growing area, needs electricity. As we demand for the factory, we must also ensure that there is electricity in processing the tea that is there. So definitely the government has put all this in plan and budget, and it is working towards it.
So when should we hope to have electricity around those areas?
The funds are there and the works are going on.
We have bad roads here in our district, in Zombo district, and they are not doing anything at all here.
Then my dog said, "No, I'm going to near one make you warm. Utie, or was you going to get some country more?
Another question that by the names of Amato Gennaro, we also found him around Zombo town, and he brought a very important issue. There was actually another lady also that we interviewed in the market, and she also brought the same issue. About 3 people asked the same question in different ways. And one of the things they said is the issue of roads. And Honorable, when we were on our way to Zombo, we were very shocked after NEPA found that the other road is not tarmacked. And I remember there's about last year, the president had talked about, making sure that all those roads are tarmacked. So Gennaro asked the question that you as a minister, how are you going to help them to make sure that they also get tarmac all the way from Zombo to Nyape to Zeu, all those areas, because as farmers they need that. So how are you going to help them? What plans do you have? What do you have to tell them?
We have lobbied in our own forum as West Nile. Personally, as the woman member of parliament for Zombo district, we have always talked about the road from Nebi, Goli, Paida, Zombo, Zeu, War, Vora.
Yes.
And it runs, Vora is in Arua district.
Okay.
And it runs for like 140 kilometers or so. The one from Nebi to Goli to the customs, to Congo customs, is about 17 kilometers or so. And we have talked about it severally. I think what remains here now is the president's directive, the president's discretion, because we have talked, the people have talked, we have seen the importance of the road. It is the only corner which is left in West Nile, in that corner. And it is a road which is going through a very fertile place, where productivity is high, where now tea factory is coming up, where coffee factory is up. So it's a very essential road. And once it is made, I can assure you it could be one of the best and long-lasting roads, because it is in a very hard soil, good soil. It will not develop potholes easily. It would be a good road and it would be long-lasting.
Binu perimatin waswak ni binu beranzelo na pe club. Club sa mi binu. Tin ibinu ni chiwa. Pirango. Isopo ngoni deko dogwan kunyo ni medo romwa pa club mi alangi sa bugadi aidanyo Zombo district. Wek uwok salve district mukende de magi sungu matek ma do swako tie ngeji.
Government bedi be wo ku twer mane ya. Tin wati mu village ma wati mu le ma Government wo ku kar mane ya. Wa be kero bo ho diga ka ni endo kudingi government do gi wo ku twer mane ya. Village ma ko ka jo ku sende mo ku bodi o ka me igi ka do gi bidi gold pi bo ho village. Bakul pasende mo mi village ma gi be bini jeri wa ku utie ma tuong. Donc pi mo ke za ku to ko sende bang wa ku di fena ngo ba ku ju jeri wa pi ya ko million pi.
Enkele be mube sendwa malozo kawoni kuba dogula ya langi kawa wuti ya juoki yore pa transport wa mi wutu ubetimo marash yuchupi konyo nye nedi chala langi supermax ebe timo nying Zombo mude no
kawa be yobulances wanwangu pek pa yobulances le pa jurutu pirama mecho punyo konyo ngo ikwa iwania fufa sa tenge mo biga duga go West Nile.
We are going now to the most how do they call vulnerable age, which is the youth, and they contribute. They're about 78% of the youth in Uganda, and that is a very tangible age where people need to be active, where people plan, for the future and everything. Now, Honorable, when we went to Zombo and we happened to go to one of the sub-counties, Alagi, we were very lucky to find you there engaging with the youth. But when we were engaging with the youth, there are questions that kept coming up. And one of the questions that really came up most was the issue of the football, the different football clubs. They talked about registration, that they're having a hiccup with the district, and how are you going to help them in that? Because they kept asking that.
The youth football clubs are very many in Zombo district. I have 13 sub-counties, and I have identified 5 clubs in each sub-county, because in each sub-county they could go up to 7 or 10 different clubs. So I just picked 5 clubs per sub-county, and I intend to reach out the rest as time goes by. My main reason for meeting them was that they need guidance and they need support, and they need to be informed also about other things, not just football. So the questions they have been asking me, like you say, we want to go and have a match in Kampala, in Arua, give us transport, give us money, give us some feeding, and the District Sports Association requires registration, give us some support, give us uniform, give us balls, give us...
They actually appreciated the issue of the balls and the uniforms, but their main issue that they asked was about transport.
Yes.
And then the issue of registration, that one came out really.
And for me, in that case, I would like to, I actually told them, I said, I think it is best you go and ask them. You go and sit with them and say, this money which we pay, how do we benefit from it? Is it only training? Because they are called for trainings. Or there are also other things. So I think that discussion will help them to understand the purpose of registration and the purpose for the monies they asked and what it is meant for. But I also promise that we can have a meeting and we see how we can support them, in the sense that they think going to Nebi, which is combining 3 districts together, is too far and expensive.
Yes.
They would rather decentralize the support to either constituency or sub-county. That can be discussed. But so the reason I talked to them was to inform them about what government is doing,
Yes.
especially with the youth. But also personally, I thought, let me support them with halls.
So could you tell us what government is doing? 'Cause we'd
Government
like to-
has youth livelihood fund, and the youth are eligible, and they have been applying for these projects. But of course, all was not well because some of them didn't manage the projects well. Like there was a case where one of the groups was saying, for us who were given goats, who got money, we got goats, and all of them have died except 3. How can you support us? Now, that was a difficult question for me. First, because they are the ones who decided
Yes.
that they have goats. Then they should have planned how to manage the goats. And me, who is a visitor once in a while, I cannot easily help. So the advice I gave was that we have to manage the goats the way it deserves. Because many times our people just tie the goats the whole day, bring them back at the end of the day, whether it is raining or not, it is in the grass. I learned from some other exposure, I learned that a goat needs only 1 hour to eat. And you don't need to take a goat out when it is wet, when the grass is wet. You have to wait to take the goat out like 11 o'clock. They come back about 1. That is 2 hours, that is even too much. Then you put their salt and then you put their water. When they eat their salt and they drink the water, they sit the whole day. They just begin chewing the cud, and it doesn't strain their body. They grow fat. But for us, it has not been that way. And so I realized that the youth need somebody nearby to give them all this information all the time.
So as a woman MP, have you tried to, connect them with this particular person? Because basing on how the landscape is, I think they still have a lot of land and the homes are not, attached to each other. There is a lot of distance between homes. And maybe that is one of the issues, the issue of connecting with this person. Because that is what I think.
Yeah, if you realize in that meeting I was with the chairperson,
Yes.
LC3.
Yes.
Somebody who is next to them, who should be telling them all the time. I was with the councillor LC5 for that sub-county,
Yes.
LC councillor to the district. Somebody who knows what the government is doing, what resources are there, who should be telling them all the time. And when I move to the communities, I move with the technical people and local leadership so that they answer directly. Because sometimes they can ask a question which could have already been answered,
Yes.
and yet they have not worked on them. What I did for the football groups, I encouraged them. I said, I'm giving you halls. These halls, use it, produce from your own gardens, from your own fields. So you can contribute from what you have produced to the group. You can also do labor, you offer labor because it is there rampant.
Yes.
Per day. You go as a group, you dig an acre, it goes for 80,000 shillings, and you get clean money because
Using
now I
the
have
hose?
given. Yes. And so that is for me what I have done, and I thought that would encourage them to work hard in groups.
Ngusheng Museveni katango minister nwangkwereni pinungo kakeni ba. Tawake washo NRM oye. Oye. Alangi oye. Oye. Super Mix oye. Oye.
Another thing which kept coming up, they have the animals, but I think there must be a problem between the people and the district leaders. So you being a state minister, first of all, for Northern Uganda, and a woman MP, they believe that it's your mandate to make sure that these rifts are settled. So what do you have to say about that?
In that meeting, I told them about the change of policy for the support of the Youth Livelihood Program. Initially, the youth are organized in a group of 15 to 30. And we have also got several complaints about accountability issues, disbursement to youth groups and the management of the funds there. Now, this issue was elaborately assessed by the Minister of Gender itself, in charge of the Youth Livelihood Program, and brought to Cabinet. And Cabinet agreed that the number of youth, in order to promote cohesion, the best number would be 5. Even 15 is too big, because one of the reasons that the youth groups collapse is because of lack of cohesion. The number is great, everybody has different ideas, and to put ideas and move together is difficult. So government decided if the youth came together in groups of 5s, that would be adequate. And the district local governments, community development office in particular, is now responsible for assessing the project document to the ministry, and the ministry will disburse money direct to the youth account, not through the district anymore. So the district remains with the role of raising the projects, well done feasibility and all the plans, and monitoring.
I was just about to ask who does the monitoring, because at the end of the day the money needs to be audited.
Yes.
The water is not coming well, so he's trying to ask whether MP can help them to bring another one.
I'll come back to the issue of water. You know, water is life. We got 2 ladies. We got them fetching water from the borehole, but the water was not coming out very well. So we got concerned and stopped and said, so what is the problem here? And they actually said their community is big. You lobbied for the boreholes, you got for them boreholes, but they are not enough. So what do you have to do? Because water seems to be a very big issue around that area. So what plans do you have to work on that?
Well, at least the one borehole has now reached. It was not there before. It has increased accessibility. There is now a borehole. There is also a protected spring nearby, but there are lots of streams. Now, I don't want to go into the details of streams, because that needs a lot of care again, that you have to boil water and so on and so on. First of all, the population is high. The community needs to manage the borehole well. Because of the high number going to that borehole, it can easily get spoiled. So the management committee should ensure that they do the minor repairs as it were, and they manage the cleanliness around.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I'll still, and then again, I want to talk about education. We managed to go to, some of the schools there, and we were told on our way that is one of the schools where Honorable studied, Wari Girls. Wari Girls. So we got excited and said, let's go and check the school. We looked at the school too. It was a very beautiful school. We found girls in school, and then we moved. When we were moving out of that school, we're going to coming back to Zombo town. Along the way, we found young girls, girls and boys playing, and then we said, no, let's take a look and also, engage the children in this program.
An achopo penje kano angetie chala ana tienga tachiel mutie ka cholo fizi. Dong sa moko kende yore me cholo fizi ni yenyo ka voya. Dong eni kachi de bange jibe konya yore manedi.
And we got so excited when we interviewed one of the girls. I still remember her name. She's called Ruth. And Christine Roth. And she asked a very, very sensitive question, and I would like you to give us an answer for that. She said, in that area, they go to school. Her as a girl, she has ambitions also of becoming an MP. That is what she said, to deliver services. And she actually said, you're the role model. She wants to be an MP like Honorable Grace. That's what she said. But she said, one thing that she asked was about the education. She said when you were voted, that when you were campaigning around, you promised to make sure that the girl child education is promoted. And now she's a girl child. So what do you have to do, especially for them in that particular area around Wari? What do you have to do to support them as girls? Because most of them stay at home and they want to go to school. So do you have any plan? What do you have to tell us about that?
I am encouraged if I can be a role model to somebody. I think first I want to meet this little girl so I can share one-on-one. But my general program is support, which I do every year. Every year after results, the P7 results come out, I pick the first grade girls and the second grade girls. And I support them with mattresses or bed sheets or scholastic materials. And we sit and we talk with them, I encourage them. I say one time I was as young as them, I was as little as them, I was walking to school like them. I also had challenges like them if they think we don't have challenges. So we have a one-on-one. And we do this in the presence of senior women teachers who should support them because they reach a dangerous age. P7, S1, S2 is when they are maturing faster than their minds. And so they want to experience so many things or they meet so many other challenges. We do, I support the girls and the teachers to train them in reusable pads because sometimes they can't afford the disposables. They don't have enough income or enough pocket money, so the reusable would help. That is what I have done with them now, and I want to do it with them again in February after results come out. So, and we have had talks. I moved to secondary schools. I talk to the teachers, I talk to the students, and I say my experience as well, just to encourage them. And generally, we have not been performing very well, but with time, I think we should be doing well. 2 months ago, we had a meeting with all the head teachers, primary and secondary school, just asking ourselves, what can we do? How can we do better? Must we get the same results as last year, or should we do better? And then we have all these challenges in management, in inspection, in financing, and so on. But we say, well, they are part of life, but despite all this, we can still do better. Now, in War Girls, that was my school, O-level school, before I went to Tororo Girls. It's a long story about that school, and for a long time, it was the only girls' secondary school in the whole of West Nile. Through a few challenges, the enrollment dropped. But now, as old girls also, we have come up. We do frequent visits to the school to talk to the girls. Last year, we had a fundraiser who would like to support the school with a bus for transport. Yes. As you moved, you must have seen the challenge of transport in that region. Yes. So it would motivate them to say, I'm going to a school which has a bus, which has
and
good
actually
environment,
the school has good structures.
Yeah.
It has good structures. Yeah. We appreciate that.
I'm Abale Simon, teacher from Natua Girls Primary School. On Tuesday there was a heavy rain with a hailstone, and it has now stayed for 5 days. Apparently right now there is no food, the crops have been destroyed, and there is no hope that they can plant something can germinate very well. We actually need help from the government or other people who can help us such that our life continues.
This rain started just as a normal rain on Wednesday. Yeah, it started as a normal rain on Wednesday around lunchtime. But the time came when hailstone started flowing here around, so it has destroyed our crops around. You can see the maize, as you see yourself, bananas already spoiled. So really we're in big problem. If we go behind there, the school garden has been destroyed. Then secondly, also we have the mango trees already destroyed. Here we have children used to pass around with the mangoes. All are gone. Maybe if we can rescue us with some bit of food stuff for the meantime, maybe some seedlings to plant also could be better.
Mostly it has affected our crops, and some people it has affected their cash crops, food crops and cash crops. The community around here, they were saying if possible let the government come in and give them some food stuff which can sustain them for some months.
The hailstone has flooded all our area. All the area was flooded up to the toilets there, and we did not even bathe at the bathing shelter because of the hailstone.
So if possible, let her also come and help girls so that she can promote girl child education.
We need our MP to provide us enough seeds so that we can plant and have foods for us.
As we went also to one of the places, Nyapir, we happened to find a very disturbing issue there. It had rained about 2 days ago, and we reached there on the third day, and the food around that area was destroyed. We managed to get some people to ask you questions, and they said, as a state minister, this time they did not say as the woman MP, they said state minister for northern Uganda, what are you going to do to help them arrest that situation? Because the hailstones apparently slashed down almost everything, including the grass, the banana, the coffee, the cassava, and also there was a school, I think Nyapir Boys and Nyapir Girls Primary School, all those areas were affected. So they asked the question, how are you going to help them?
It has been sad. I got that information myself, and I also managed to visit a few areas. 2 parishes have been affected, and the neighboring third parish, and a total of 24 villages with 1,900 households. And as you saw, all the food in the garden is now rotting because of the immense cold. The cassava will rot. The maize, because it was still fresh, they cannot dry, they cannot harvest. They have to eat it now if it is still edible. So the sub-county and the district has worked very hard. They have given me the document because that is the procedure, that when there is a disaster, the district disaster committee sits and writes to the Minister of Relief and Disaster Preparedness. So I've come back with a letter which I'll give to my colleague, but it happened at a time when I was planning to support the vulnerable, the sick, and some youth with some food items. So we have decided that the food which I had taken for the vulnerable people, I'm going to give it to the communities. Okay. The Prime Minister's office already had given me 180 bags of posho and 80 bags of beans. Of course, this is not enough. When I had a short meeting with some of the affected people, they requested for planting materials. They requested for maize seed, bean seed, cassava cuttings, all the necessary planting materials which we can support them with, because that is more sustainable than just maybe a basin of beans or a basin of posho, which they will not eat for a long time. Maybe 2 weeks it will be finished. So that's what we are going to work on, to see that they can be supported with planting materials. Thank God it is still raining, and we pray that when they put it in the soil, it can yield there will be no more disasters. That's what we pray for.
We've exhausted the questions that we got from the constituency. Now I'll come back to here in Kampala. Being a state minister for northern Uganda, I'm going to ask you this question and we'll need a genuine answer. How can you rate yourself in terms of legislation?
First of all, let me say that all the bills that go to Parliament pass through Cabinet.
Yes.
So I contribute in shaping it, in adding value to it before it is presented to Parliament. So that is more fundamental. Then I sit in Parliament. In our ministry, we raise budgets to respond to the needs of the people, and we present it to Parliament. We go before a committee in charge of our ministry. In this case, it is the Presidential Affairs Committee. We present the issues to that committee, and the committee then forwards it for appropriation in Parliament.
So I'll come back and ask you a question. What challenges have you faced as, first of all, a woman MP for Zombo, and then the state minister for northern Uganda?
The work is demanding, of course. The area is large. There are districts which have grown in number. I started as a minister when there were 54 districts. Now I'm counting 63 districts, and each of them have their peculiar nature issues. I have to reach at least once in a while, interact with the leaders, understand the issue in each of these districts. Then I have my own to do even a more in-depth. In other districts I can go to project, I can meet the leaders, but in my district I have to go up to the community.
Yes.
And so it's exciting, but it also can take a toll on you because you have to be there for the people. And the people ask you the same questions. The ones in your district, with the one in another district, basically the same questions. They all need support. And when I go to northern Uganda, I'm basically answering questions for all the other ministries. Education will ask, the road will ask, the energy will ask, where is power? The same questions I get in my district, the same questions and so I bring back information and I share with my colleague ministers in this place. This is what they're asking for, this is what the question is about, this is the challenge, and so on.
So we also happened to get you, when we were in Zombo, there was a prayer luncheon with the Archbishop, the retired Archbishop Orombe. And one of the issues that he talked about was unity, and then working together as leaders. You as a member of parliament for Zombo district and then also the state minister, what do you have to say about that?
When I go to the field, I look at citizens, regardless of their religion, regardless of their parties, and that's where I can go to any office, regardless of the chairperson. Gulu is an independent. The chairperson Lira is UPC. The chairperson, my chairperson in Nebi and now Zombo NRM, but I interact with them on issues. Otherwise, I would be doing somebody's job. I'm not the Secretary General of a party. For me, I make sure that the districts are benefiting from the government program and they are following the policies and they are delivering services to the people.
I am who I am because of you. You educated me for my degree.
Yeah.
I got degree because of you. When my father rejected to pay me, I was on my knees to pray. Then a friend of mine was like, you try to ask Bishop Korombi, I had, he pay people. So that is how my fees was paid, and I studied, I got my degree. So I didn't know what to pay or what to give you my dad, but I vowed, I'm like, no, I must pay you in a different way. I am going to pay other children because I God let me study so that I help the needy. And indeed, God gave me job with compassion. Those are the needy children that I'm helping. At the same time, I have other children that I'm sponsored in honor of you. I have 17 children. 17 children, out of 17, 3 have graduated. Then I have 14 that are still studying, that I'm in charge of them. And out of these 14, I have 3 street children. Then I have 3 alumni children, then other children also.
Leadership is a lot to do with being an example to the people that you lead. You need to be a servant of the people. You need to be very sacrificial. Leadership means people put trust in you, and when they put trust in you, it means you don't let them down. And consistency in leadership is what people want to know. So that what you say and what you do tally. Do not fail to walk your talk. And so here among the people of Nebi, beginning from Pakwach all the way to Zombo, I have been here ever since 1987. Now when you see people come because they're invited for a meal to say thank you to God, then you know the trust has not yet failed. Simply because I've lived among them, I have been to Kampala, I came back to live among them. So then if you're a leader, do not be divorced from the people. Your leader will be in correspondence to the amount of support you give them. So don't ever leave your leaders alone. Put them to task also for accountability. If they are expected to deliver, be there to ask, what about this, what about the other, what about this? And when the leader is with you, make sure you don't just beg from him. Let him be a teacher, or let him be a messenger of your voice to wherever he's going, whether to Parliament or to the district council. Support your leader, pray for your leader, encourage your leader. I have been a leader all my life, but if I was not supported by people, I would have failed. Beginning from my wife, from my family, and the people that I elect. So those who elect your leaders, do not leave them alone.
The second last question. Would you again come back to Parliament 2021?
I'm going to contest first. Yes, I'm going to contest in 2021 and I'll come back to Parliament.
And on that note, any message you want to tell the people of Zombo and of course the people of North as a whole?
My people of North, let me start from there. I want to thank them very much for the response they have given towards development programs, and I want to encourage them to continue. I also want to say that Northern Uganda is growing faster now because it has come out of that dangerous period where people were in the camps, where security was not very good. Now there is peace, the land is fertile, and people are active. We can still work and do better things to transform Northern Uganda. From our part, we are implementing 2 big programs. The NUSAF, Northern Uganda Social Action Fund. We have DINU, a new program which is going to look at agro-processing and road networks and maybe factories. There's going to be a huge economic hub in Gulu. And we think it will really attract the trade in Sudan and in Congo and boost the trade in Northern Uganda. With the railway line, which is also going to be rehabilitated up to Pakwach, we think that Northern Uganda will be different. We are looking at factories for agro-processing, because northern Uganda is basically an agricultural area. Production of beef and dairy in the large and vast fertile area, we think can promote economic growth in northern Uganda. Fish caging, we now have fish caging activities on the Nile, and they are exporting to Congo. We have tea, like in Zombo, and coffee. We want to promote coffee, more coffee growing, so that we can catch some economic values as well. So basically we are now looking at agro-processing, commercial farming, and engaging the labor, the vast labor we have. And in addition, when the power reaches West Nile, reaches Gulu, reaches Moroto in the 133 kV volume, I think the activities in northern Uganda will grow.
On that note, I would like to thank you so much for engaging with us here in our program of Ask Your MP, and also for letting the people of Zombo and northern Uganda know that you're actually working and giving accountability for their vote. Now, back to you who has been watching UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. In this program, we make sure that we bring all our leaders who are attached to Parliament, who are ministers and MPs. That's why we give you the platform to ask the questions. Next time, we shall bring you another MP. And for now, I will say that good night, and Honorable, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Oluka Jamila, and I've been with the State Minister for Northern Uganda, Honorable Kuchini Grace Freedom. Good night.